After severe weather, heavy winds, or even just litter bugs and party goers, there's always a chance that animals will consume random debris. Sunup's Curtis Hare has this story.
The unpredictable Oklahoma spring weather has arrived, and with severe storms and high winds, a whole bag of concerns can be dropped on producers throughout the state. Dr. Melanie Boyu is a veterinary clinical sciences professor at OSU, and she says one issue producers need to watch out for is their animals ingesting debris, particularly plastics.
You know, any kind of ruminants, whether it's especially cattle, have access to any of those Walmart plastic bags. If they have, if they get to eat one or two, it's probably not going to be that big of a deal. But if there's, for some reason, it's blowing and it's all in their pasture and they have readily access to that, then they could eat many. And what can happen is it can either stay in their rumen, so they have 4 stomachs, and they could just kind of stay and just kind of move around in there and not really go downstream and cause any problems. But if there's enough, because that's not going to degrade, or be digested, it can get obstructed, or it could cause an obstruction.
For cattle, Boyu says it may take a while for the animal to be affected, but there are red flags producers can spot.
And one of the signs you're going to see is an animal kind of not feeling very well, not eating very much, maybe decreased stool output, and then gradually over time their belly is going to get bigger and bigger.
The best thing people can do is just watch their pastures and make sure that if there's been large windstorms or some other activities that would displace a lot of debris, is go ahead and check those pastures and make sure that if there's any large quantities of that available, that they do go get that cleaned up in a timely fashion, or move those animals away from it until they can get that cleaned up.
Although debris from storms and high winds is hard to prevent, the carelessness and ignorance of how people dispose of plastics has always been a problem for animals, especially wildlife.
So we've known for quite a while that a lot of species of wildlife ingest plastic, either intentionally or accidentally when foraging. And this can be plastic bags or balloons, and a lot of people don't realize just how many balloons are released in the United States each year. And they end up in the environment, and a lot of them end up in the gut of some animal.
Elmore says people aren't releasing balloons maliciously, but they don't realize how consequential the act can be.
So when a balloon is released, it can go for quite a ways depending on the air currents before it comes back down. And once you release it, it's out of your hands, and basically it's littering. There's no difference in releasing a helium balloon than it is in just throwing a cup out on somebody's property. You're littering somewhere. So it's breaking the law at a minimum, but it also potentially is being ingested by livestock or wildlife. It's also aesthetically unpleasing to the landowner. It's unnecessary, and it causes a lot of problems.